Napoleon was an amazing movie. I loved this. I'm so happy that the complex, larger-than-life weirdo that was Napoleon is now portrayed by the most brilliantly awkward and off-putting actor of his generation in Joaquin Phoenix. It was a casting choice that allowed not only this character, but also this entire film to go in a direction that is so obviously different from most European period pieces. Nothing about this felt boring or pompous or full of itself. Rather, it felt like something so strange to Ridley Scott's catalog. And I think it's one of the most obscure and probably one of the funnier movies of his to date. The whole time I was watching this, I was waiting for Joaquin to have a Joaquin moment, and sure enough, he had plenty. We see him hump a woman in a way that looked like he read a Reddit post explaining how to do it. We see him and Vanessa Kirby get in a literal food fight as he's talking about fate presenting him with lamb chops. But I also don't want to give the wrong impression. This movie isn't completely out there, nor is it some super big shock fest. First and foremost, it does deliver on the large-scale war-driven sequences that I was looking forward to. There are scenes and battles that not only have fantastic audio and visuals, but that also do such an effective job at brutalizing my image of this character. Napoleon wanted to be a Caesar. He was power-hungry, he was a conqueror, and in general, he had a ton of terrible qualities. And I'm glad that even though on one hand I did enjoy the peculiar charm that Phoenix brought to the character, the film never once tried to convince me that this man was a hero. And this could be considered spoilers in a way, but the movie never shows him feeling regret or remorse about his actions as a leader. He believed he was always in the right, and we don't see him waver in that confidence, which is another huge sigh of relief for me. I get so annoyed when certain characters get redeemed unnecessarily. Sometimes I just want to see a person be who they are, good or bad. It can be so much more authentic and engaging in that way. However, this film also explores Napoleon's personal and romantic life, and those aspects are much more nuanced and bring about far greater self-doubt and contemplation for the lead character. The dynamic between Napoleon and Josephine, who was played brilliantly by Vanessa Kirby — I totally expect her to be nominated for a ton of awards this year — was so unhealthy and power-driven, which made me love it. They both get really deep in the other's head and hearts, and always know how to make the other one crumble on a moment's notice. The whole time you're convinced these two truly do have a type of love for one another, but they're really bad at it, and they are incredibly manipulative. Which brings me to my final point, that the motives of Napoleon in his personal life and as a leader are the same. He is completely convinced that he is not like other men. He thinks he is fate incarnate, meant to conquer and dominate Europe. And I think that core motivation is fascinating. It's what made me love this movie, and that idea alone is something I could have watched for another 2.5 hours.